Got the flying monkey right blues? Here's the cure. Mike Malloy.
It is 21 past the hour. You know, I was thinking today with these exit interviews that these two war criminals are providing to corporate media, Dick Cheney and George Bush. Thinking again about Cheney's sit down with Jonathan Karl, and Cheney, I don't know, man. Cheney saying, well, as we told you last night, during that interview, Cheney disagreed with Karl Rove's statement last week that if pre-war intelligence indicated Iraq did not have weapons of mass destruction, the U.S. would not have gone to war. Cheney argued that would have gone in anyway, saying Hussein had a long reputation and record of having started two wars. Oh, Christ. Of having brutalized and killed hundreds of thousands of people, some of them with weapons of mass destruction in his own country, end quote. Which is I mean, this is crazy talk. Cheney also told ABC that Guantanamo should remain open until the end of this so-called war on terror. He took credit for being the architects of one of the architects of torture. It's astonishing what these two bastards are doing. And I started thinking what they're admitting to. You know, what did Bush say the other night, Kathy, when he was asked by Martha Raddatz about al-Qaeda not being in Iraq before Bush put them there, and his attitude was, his answer was, so what? How does this work? With all the death, let's just not talk about Iraqi dead and maimed and blown to pieces and children, and I mean, that's we can't even go there. The numbers are too big. Our sense of morality or ethical conduct will not allow us to think about that. This is something where we have to hide from the horror that we have allowed these war criminals to commit in our names. We can't look at it. Okay, so let's just stick with American dead. 4,000 plus American dead, 20,000 grievously wounded, their lives disrupted, if not ruined, for the rest of their lives. And for what? I think about the families, and I realize this is extremely maudlin. It's only because of the time of the year. It's Christmas. Oh, gosh. We all get together and sing songs around the spinet and put candles in the window and all this other stuff. We need a little Christmas. We need a little Christmas. What about the families whose sons are dead? Based on the lies. I mean, everybody who is willing to open their heads now understands that George W. Bush forced this country into a war that had no basis in reality at all. That every single American who has died in Iraq died for Bush's ego, so he could say, mine's bigger than yours, Daddy. That's what this was all about. And Bush and Cheney sit there and say, yeah, well, I devised the torture, and it was absolutely necessary to protect the guy. I mean, I can't. If I had a relative, a son, especially a son or a daughter, oh my God, who had been in the military when all this happened, and who got sent there and was killed, I hesitate to even say on the radio what I would do, because I know what I would do. It's just, how do these families, whose sons, for the most part, daughters to a lesser degree, but each death is 100% tragedy. It doesn't make any difference if it's a son or a daughter. The little kids whose dads are gone, whose mothers are gone, for Christ's sake. The husbands that are gone. The wives that are gone. And Cheney and Rove and Bush, sit down for these filthy, disgusting, corrupt interviews with television journalists who I don't understand why they don't say, you know, Mr. Vice President, you committed a war crime by any definition. What is Jonathan Karl afraid of if he says that? What is Martha Raddatz afraid of? Martha Raddatz has more courage in one of her toes than George Bush has in his entire twisted body. What stops them? And then Cheney, after dropping his pants and doing his business all over ABC, goes on the Rush Limbaugh program, the one place where he knows that Rush will do for him what Monica did for Bill Clinton. And Cheney sits there through a so-called interview with the pig man. And God damn it! We are accepting this, if not as normal, but as something that's just going to blow right by. It's just going to blow right by. Jesus, God.